If you were Adam Silver, how would you handle the situation of the Mavs tanking to secure a better draft pick? We're going to go ahead and start this off with Steve. What you got?
So I think there's a couple different things here, right? First, Mark Cuban has a history of tanking. This is not the first time he's tanked, right? So he's got a history. The other thing, he's got super deep pockets. You really cannot find him enough money. The fact that he's a billionaire, there's no amount of money you can find him where like he won't pay it. So really the only way you can hurt him then is to penalize him for tanking. And so what I was looking online before, if this is accurate, they've got about a 3% chance, right, of having a number one pick or something along those lines. I think if you were just to go from 3% to 2% and split that other 1% to everyone else, I think that'd be a pretty sufficient penalty to kind of like let everyone know that this is unacceptable. I think a lot of this also, not only is he demonstrated that Dallas Mavericks are a bunch of quitters, but he's operating as a bad faith actor. If I made a deal with CJ and in the last minute I'm going to manipulate the situation so I don't have to honor my deal with CJ, I think that's pretty bad faith and it should be heavily penalized.
All right. Pretty solid answer there. Apparently the change of scenery is helping you out there, Steve. All right, next up, Eric, what are your thoughts?
So I think one thing from a strategic perspective, it made all the sense in the world. Dallas was tanking for the last 30 games up until the last game. They really didn't have any different outcome that last game than they did the 30 games before that. Most of the speculations, the fact that he sat his two stars in that final game. If they won, they were probably in. If they lost, they were out. So from a strategic perspective, to go into the play-in tournament and get booted out probably doesn't make sense. I think the key there was that it changed a draft pick. They had traded a draft pick, and if they were out of the playoffs, it was protected. If they were in, it was out, something to that effect. So from a culture perspective, I hate it. Luka was pissed. Anybody on there that competes always believes they have a chance if they're just given an opportunity. So I think anybody on that roster wanted to make the playoffs. Culturally, I think it sucks. Strategically, I can't disagree.
Very good insight. Like it. RJ, got any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so I'm a Dallas Mavericks fan because I live here in DFW. And my question to Mark Cuban is why didn't you just go out to the center logo, piss on it, and then flip us all off as fans? You pathetic loser, okay? I mean, this is embarrassing as a fan. You have two of the best players in the NBA in Kyrie Irving and Luka, and you just decide to quit. And I agree with Eric. You didn't have to change anything. You were already losing, so you should have just sent them out there and just lost anyways. But because you did what you did, I think that they have to come down with the hammer for the reputation of the NBA, okay? And case in point, both 10 seeds won last night, so we still had a chance, Mark, you fucking loser. So here's what you do. No, hold on, I'm not done. Here's the penalty. Whatever draft pick the Mavericks get, you give it away to someone else in a second lottery. So you lose the draft pick. You make him give a public apology, and by him I mean Mark Cuban. And last, and certainly not least, an apology to the fans by refunding anyone that bought tickets to those last two games. Hit them in the pocketbook, give the money back because they didn't pay to see a damn G League game like he turned it into.
Ooh, strong words there. All right, CJ, what about you, boss?
Yeah, I just think it's corny, man. I mean, it's a competitive sport, it's a competitive game. To send a team out there intentionally to tank, I think is disgusting. But this is a problem that's not exclusive to the Dallas Mavericks. I think it's exclusive to sports in general, professional sports, and, dealing with lottery picks and things of that nature. So I just think it's a bad look for the league. I think it's a bad look for the Mavericks. I think, Cuban himself definitely deserves some sanctions and something that has to happen to curb this from continuing to take place. I get Eric's point in terms of strategy, but I think this is the catalyst that's going to cause Luka to not want to re-up in Dallas, man. I think he's going to want to get out for sure after this and go to a more competitive team. And I don't know what Kyrie was trying to do in Dallas. Neither one of these guys played any defense. So I agree with RJ's point. They were going to lose the game anyway, quite frankly.